Welcome to Storytime with the Intimacy Ally. Each episode will tear down a myth, kick a social norm in the beanbag, gut punch a sex ed untruth, or destroy a poorly constructed relationship expectation. Get ready to unlearn all the crap you accepted as fact. Strap in for a mind-blowing revision on what sex is and what it can do. Prepare yourself for a whole new thought pattern when it comes to modern relationships. And now, here's your host, Jenny Simus, the Intimacy Ally, relationship expert and certified sex and intimacy coach.
Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Storytime with the Intimacy Ally. I am Jenny Simus, your host. I wanted to talk a little bit about what went on this weekend that made me realize that this is the myth that I'm going to cover today, that you have to be traditionally beautiful to expect love. I had probably the most wonderful weekend with my fiance. We just did a lot of things that interest both of us. We went and threw axes. We got to go out to eat. We snuggled on the couch. We did all these things that just make me remember how wonderful he is and how lucky I am and all of that. But it also made me very, very aware that I would not have him and we would not be in the situation that we are in, and we would not be as connected as we are if I had not healed, and I continue to heal, honestly, from believing this myth, this social construct that you have to be traditionally beautiful to expect love. So like before him, the best compliment that I ever got was that I was exotic looking. And that was from a girlfriend. And my ex used to remind me often that exotic meant foreign. So like it didn't mean pretty. It didn't mean beautiful. Looking back, it's pretty apparent for me that I always had this expectation or like these qualifiers put on me for beauty. Those were things that were understood in my world. The qualifiers. You are not pretty if you are not. You are not attractive if you are not. So I understood that I wasn't like, Gal Gadot or, one of these extremely striking models or actresses. I get it. We can't all be 11s, right? But I asked my mom when I was like 13 years old, I think, if she thought I was pretty. And don't get me wrong, my mom was a very loving mom, was a very present mom, was a mom who appreciated me and made me feel safe and wonderful. But I asked her if she thought I was pretty, and she said, I think you can be if you work at it. And after that, there was a whole lot of, when I was in relationships, feeling like I was less than, feeling like I didn't deserve love because I was not attractive enough. And it was like almost like serving up an apology to people for being so kind as to deign to date me, as it were. It's a fucked up way to walk around. It made me assume that if someone did find me attractive, they wanted something else, like sex or money. It made me feel like I should be grateful for whatever crumbs of affection I received. And this is the big one. It made me feel like if someone were to want me, then I owed them something simply because they were looking past my ugliness, even to consider me as a partner. I know I'm not alone in believing this myth that you are only lovable if you are traditionally attractive or traditionally handsome or traditionally beautiful. So what's changed? What changed for me that made this not so important? For starters, I am not with the partner who reminded me often that exotic means foreign. I don't need anybody else to belittle the small grains of, hey, you're hot that I get thrown my way. I took the control out of the hands of other people to determine my attractiveness. It's going to be an ongoing battle in my mind and my body, but I took back control. I went through therapy. I did coaching. I listened to podcasts. I read books. I tried to have like this, I'm okay, you're okay kind of attitude. I went through my whole sexual health alliance training and like deprogramming all of these ideas of what is attractive. Now, I know not everybody is going to have time or care to do that. Not everybody is a relationship and sex coach. So you're not going to have the time and care to do that. But my friend was making these portraits. It was about 2 years ago. And she was doing these wonderful paintings and I was seeing them go up on Facebook and I wanted to support my friend, but also I wanted to believe that I had done the work and I could love myself. So I'm going to get this portrait made of me. So I sent her a picture and she sent me back the picture and a portrait. And I took it out of the box and I looked at it and it was very lovely. And then I wrapped it the fuck back up and put it back in the box and taped it shut and put it under my bed. And it sat there for a year. I mean, how crazy is that? It sat there for a year. It is insane. I was able to realize that I still had so much more work to do just individually for myself. I had been going through the motions with my therapist, with friends, being on dating sites. I had totally convinced my outward self, okay, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Oh, take me or leave me. This is how I am. But I was disgusted with myself. Inside, I could not stand to look at myself. We have to look at ourselves on a daily basis. You brush your hair, you brush your teeth, you try on a new outfit, you are getting ready, maybe you're throwing on some makeup. You have to look at yourself from time to time. But you don't have to see yourself. Do you follow me? It's kind of like when you listen to something, but you don't hear it. I was able to scooch through life, briefly having to observe my reflection or occasionally coming out from behind the camera so that somebody else could take a picture of me and having to deal with the fact that I saw myself. But I couldn't look at me. I had all of these other people's visions of me as a reality. And because I had all of their visions as a reality, I saw myself as ugly. And because I saw myself as ugly, I saw myself as undeserving of love. The two were linked undeniably in my mind. So if you've gone through all the therapy, I get it. Therapy is an ongoing thing. But if you've done a shit ton of therapy and a shit ton of work on yourself and you still are disgusted and you still don't think you are worthy of love based on the package that you're in. First of all, women, in my experience, now that I've been doing this coaching for a while, have a really hard time accepting body, mind, me. They're all the same thing. It's why we have such a problem being in our bodies and present in the moment to like accept pleasurable experiences. We're off like thinking about other things. We're trying to sort out schedules in our minds when we should be engaging with whatever stimuli is affecting our bodies. It's very hard. And I knew that there was nothing that was going to fix this or to even get close to making it possible for me to unlearn this social fucking construct that beautiful people are the only ones who end up having actual love. So I wanted to have this portrait out, but I just didn't know how to do it. So I decided one day that enough was enough. I was going to approach this from a thought work perspective. I was going to change the way that my brain thought about me. So every day I got in front of a full-length mirror for 1 minute. And while I did that, I wasn't allowed to think negative thoughts. I had to come up with things I liked about myself. And I started small, I think I have pretty brown eyes. Or I love the way that my smile looks inviting. And then I was like, hey, I got a pretty nice rack. Yeah. And it just kind of went from there. When you do things like this, when you convince yourself, when you talk to yourself, when you talk yourself through these things, you can change the reality. I'm not saying I suddenly look like Gal Gadot. That is not going to happen. But I appreciated myself. The exercise became second nature. In that minute, instead of like struggling to find one thing, I could go to the mirror and I could name off 5 things and I could be on my way. And it affected everything about my day. It made possibilities out of closed doors. I not only saw the attractiveness that I held on the outside, but I saw my heart. Like I saw my inner beauty, and I know, oh my God, I know. It's like so frustrating. If you're a bigger girl, if you're like not a super hot girl, whatever, you're just like, or woman, if you are not those things, you hear a lot like, oh, you got a great sense of humor, or, oh, she's got such a big heart. Those things are good. Like, stop taking them with that negative connotation. Turn that shit around. Yeah, okay, so you're fucking funny. Cool. Okay, so you're a very caring, kind person. That is good. We need more. But it doesn't have to mean that you have to walk around feeling like the packaging of your body is bad. There are beautiful things about you. And the fact that you deserve love is not part of your attractiveness in the zeitgeist. Like, okay, how about this? I became attractive to myself in a non-traditional way because I saw what my friend could see when she made that portrait. Now, I gained confidence. I made changes in my daily life. I slowed my drinking way down. I got more outgoing on the dating website that I had joined. I started doing little things that I hadn't really done in many years to kind of care for my body, to care for me. But the big one was I got that portrait out from underneath the bed and I looked at it. I really looked at it and I saw me. I saw myself not only through the kind lens of my dear friend, but I also saw through a much more thoughtful and self-compassionate lens that I had created and nurtured for myself with that daily thought work mirror exercise. I saw me and I wept. And I texted my friend and I was like, I'm crying. I'm looking at this portrait that you made and it's so beautiful. And you just made me see that I am a viable person, whether I look like some model or some TV personality or, some other desirable figure, some porn star, whatever I had been doing to compare myself to what I thought was the only thing that was viable to be loved had gone away. I don't know how else to explain it. I could look at myself. And I didn't feel that disgust. I didn't feel that all of those voices that had contributed for so long to my estimation of myself, they got very, very quiet. And I replaced them with my own narrative that, okay, I am short, I am fat, not PHAT, fat, I'm fat, I get it. I don't have dazzling white teeth. I am older than a lot of these chicks on these dating sites. But I am so very fucking worthy of love. I am lovable. I put good out into the world. I want wonderful things for many people that I've met. I want to help people communicate. I want to help people engage. I want the world to be a kinder, nicer place. And I deserve love. It doesn't have to be contingent upon my hotness factor. So at the same time as being able to admit to myself that I was beautiful on the inside and the outside in my estimation, in my judgment, I also had to let go of this notion that outer beauty denotes lovability. And that is the myth that we have. And that is the myth that I want to gut punch. Honestly, you do not have to be traditionally God blessed. You do not have to be traditionally attractive to expect and deserve love. One should not be an indicator for the other. And if you are feeling stuck there, if you are feeling like you cannot move past that, I want you to know, one, you are fucking not alone. Oh my God, you're so not alone. And two, if you're really struggling with it and you've tried other things, you've tried the therapy, you've tried, talking it through with your friends and your family, you've done journaling, you've done different exercises and they haven't worked, I want you to reach out to me because I would love to help you with this. I'm not going to lie, a month after I put up that portrait, that's when I met my fiance online. I do not think that this is a coincidence. I think that once I was done thinking of myself as unworthy of love, love found me. So I want to help you do that. I want to thank you guys for coming and listening today. If you're struggling with this, please reach out to me. I would love to help you, let you know that you are a beautiful human worthy of love. Please subscribe at www.theintimacyally.com. You can message me directly at theintimacyally, INTIMACYALLY @gmail.com. And if you like what you heard, follow, share, comment, do the things. I hope you can make it back next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Storytime with the Intimacy Ally. We hope you learned a bit more about putting the fire back in your romantic relationships, exploring communication and emotional readiness in all relationships, and how to expand your definition of intimacy so you can reach your relationship goals. Go to theintimacyally.com to subscribe and never miss an episode. Follow the links in the show notes to social media and events. Till next time, keep on learning, growing, and thinking. Storytime with the Intimacy Ally podcast is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered as health or mental health advice.